So here we have the solution for question 1. And for part A, part 1, we're required to find f of 4. So that should be fairly straightforward. Let's look at this function f of x. We can see that f of x is equal to 3x minus 2. So f of 4 means that wherever we see an x, we're going to replace by 4. So f of 4 is equal to 3. Replace the x by 4, so 3 times 4 minus 2, which is 12 minus 2, which is equal to 10. So final answer is 10. Moving on to A part 2. So A part 2, and we're required to find g of f of 4. So a big hint in the question here, look at this. We've already found f of 4, which is 10. And we replace that into the g of x function, and wherever we see an x, we're going to replace that by this answer here. So g of f of 4 is simply 1 over this answer, so 1 over 10 or 0.1. Looking at part B, we have g of 5. Well, let's find g of 5 first. So g of 5, so wherever we see an x, we're going to replace by 5. So that's simply 1 over 5. Now g of 5, well, this time we're still going to use this function 1 over x, but x is now replaced by 1 over 5. So we get 1 over 5, and simply by rearranging these fractions, so we've got 1 divided by 1 over 5, that simply becomes 5. So final answer there is 5. Part C, we have to solve f of h of x being equal to 10. Well, f of h of x. So we're going to take this h of x and pop it into this function here. So x plus 2 squared, we're taking this and popping it in wherever we see this x term here. So we're going to get 3. We're replacing the x here by the x plus 2 squared. So x plus 2 squared. And then we've got this minus 2 here. And we know that that is equal to 10. Now looking at this, I'm going to rearrange things a little bit. So I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides here. So I'm going to subtract 10 here and subtract 10 here. And that would give me 3 x plus 2 all squared. I'm going to have the minus 2 and minus another 10. So that's going to be minus 12. And the 10s will cancel here, giving me 0. Now I can divide throughout by 3, and I'll get x plus 2 squared minus 4 is equal to 0. I can now expand this bracket here, so a bit of bracket expansion. We're going to get x squared plus 4x plus 4 minus the 4 is equal to 0. Now these 4's here will cancel, leaving me with x squared plus 4x equal to 0. And now I can factorize here. So x plus 4 is equal to 0. So either x is equal to 0, so this term here is equal to 0, or we have x plus 4 being equal to 0. So therefore x is equal to 0 from this part here, or it's equal to negative 4 from this part here. So there's the two answers. We get 0 or negative 4. Okay, moving on to part D. For part D, we have to find g of h of f of x in terms of x. Well, let's start with this h of f of x. So h of f of x, Well, that's going to be equal to the following. So wherever we see the x here, we're going to replace by this whole function here. So the 3x minus 2, we're going to pop in for this x. So we get 3x minus 2. So that's that bit. And then we've got this plus 2. And then we've got to square that. Obviously the minus 2 and the plus 2 here will cancel. So I've got 3x all squared, which is 9x squared. Now that I have to put into g of x. So g of h of f of x. And hopefully I have enough brackets there. Yes, I do. Is equal to, well, g of x is 1 over x, but we know that that is now 9x squared, sorry. So that is 1 over 9x squared.